Knicks, making his return, of course, to the city that drafted him as the Knicks face the Timberwolves in Minneapolis. Cat played his first 9 seasons in Minnesota before being traded to the Knicks and is averaging almost 25 points, a career best 14 rebounds per game this season. And this was the type of year New York was hoping for when they acquired Towns. He's balling. He's averaging career highs in three-point shooting and rebounding. They've started to figure something out in New York. His 13.9 boards per game also lead the league. But how big of a change was this? You covered Minnesota closely, going from Minnesota to the bright lights of New York City, Tim.
Yeah, no, this was a massive change, and Cat felt like he was at home in Minnesota. And frankly, he was hurt by this trade. He went through so many hard times in Minnesota, finally got to the point where they were contenders, coming off a West Finals. You know, he had made room for Ant to be the face of the franchise and was thriving in that secondary role. He was stung, but look, he got traded to a great situation in New York, and he has certainly lived up to expectations there. They got him to become an elite offense, and he has more than done his part to help make that happen.
Yeah, I expect him to get a warm reception from the fans tonight.
Absolutely.
Even though he's from the New York area and it looked like it was a homecoming for him, he was super invested in being the support to Ant Edwards. And I don't want to just move past that. He was the franchise player, multiple-time All-NBA, Supermax contract. Ant came in and he was willing to step aside and offer his support. And so he was building this team up. And so I do think it was a shock to him. I do think he's happy and thriving in New York. I think he's going to be an all-star. I think he's got a good chance to be All-NBA again. But I also think that some of him remains in Minnesota.
Yeah, we read the numbers, career year in a bunch of different categories, Chiney. But New York, it can be a pressure cooker. We talked about that when Cat went to the Knicks. How would you grade his first season there so far?
That transition is not easy.
No.
And maybe I'm a little generous of a grader, but I would say it's an A. What he's been able to do, just mesh with what people deemed the New York Knicks last year to be one of the best groups of chemistry amongst their players. It took maybe 10 or so games, but now look at the results. You mentioned those numbers. He's shooting 44% from three. Y'all, he is leading the NBA at 14 rebounds per game. So, yeah, that's exactly what they needed, and he stands out. Literally, that's what this move is about. When you think about the Timberwolves, that was a tough, tall, athletic front line, especially with Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. Now this is a smaller group, which means he truly stands out, and it works out for him on both ends.
Yeah, I feel like when you look at the way the Knicks are, they're probably right where they should be. I know that there was expectation that they were going to come out and right now compete with the Celtics. I don't think that was realistic. I think you have to watch how they've gotten better. Mitchell Robinson will eventually be back. But I think this team is a team that will see its best days in years 2 and 3 of the Cat-Brunson relationship.
But their defense, it's improved significantly over the last month. They're starting to gel a little bit more on that end, and so...
And look, you understood there were going to be defensive challenges. There's a reason that the Timberwolves traded for Rudy Gobert and were playing Cat alongside him.
Yeah.
So none of that is a surprise. The question was, how long was it going to take him to feel comfortable offensively and really click in a new situation with a new group? And the chemistry between Jalen Brunson and Cat, it was like a couple games and then boom. And again, the Knicks are an elite offensive team, and he has played a massive role in making that happen.
And it spread the wealth a little bit. When we thought about the Knicks last year, it was largely on the shoulders of Jalen Brunson, doing a lot of isolation work and other guys just knocking down shots, Dante DiVincenzo and company. But now this is a more balanced offense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe the defense took a little bit of a step back, but I think this is the upside that Brian alludes to over the next few years. They're going to build a more well-rounded team.
And I imagine that this is more the type of Knicks basketball that they wanted to be playing going into what is going to be an emotional game. When you think of franchise cornerstones, there's not many star players who had been with a franchise longer, maybe Steph Curry, Chris Middleton, Giannis, Draymond, than Karl-Anthony Towns. And so returning to Minnesota, I feel like this game creeped up on us just a little bit. And Luka Doncic, his team is going to take on the Clippers. However, the 5-time All-NBA guard was ruled out due to that left heel contusion that caused him to miss a couple of practices this week. Tim, is this an issue that could persist for longer than just one game? What do you think?
It's a day-to-day deal. It's not a serious concern, but obviously they wanted to clear up. He's going to sit tonight, and it's a we'll see on Saturday. And it's a shame because he's coming off the best performance of his season and maybe the NBA season with that 45-point triple-double in Golden State.
Okay, so for now, we will continue to monitor this day-to-day situation. Sticking in the West Coast, that's where KD and Booker, they are home against the Pacers. The Suns, they sit at 6th in the standings. They're 13-2 with KD in the lineup, but without him, they're 1-9. So, Chiney, is the key for Phoenix just have Durant out there on the floor?
Should I save us some time? Yes, they need him on the floor every time because we all know how they started off the season. They looked like a front runner. A lot of people, was it Wendy that included, that said they could potentially make it to the NBA Finals. They need him on the floor, but more importantly, it wasn't you, it was probably someone else. Oh, he's lying. To me, he is the X factor here to make sure they can push for a championship run.
For Phoenix to Orlando, SGA and J-Dub, they made their cross-country trip after losing in the NBA Cup Finals in Vegas on Tuesday night. After tonight's game against a tough Magic team, then they have to go to Miami on Friday to take on the Heat. It's a pretty brutal travel schedule if you enjoy, I don't know, sleeping in your own bed. But anyway, Brian, will the Thunder get back to their winning ways against the Magic?
I don't know what you're talking about. According to the NBA standings, they're on a 5-game win streak.
Oh.
Tuesday's game did not count. They're the hottest team in the NBA. I reject that premise. Obviously, they need to come back with a better offensive display. Orlando's been awesome at home this year, but they don't have their two best players. They should bounce back tonight. We'll see if everybody is feeling good for Miami tomorrow.
All right.